Welcome to Center of Light.
Access granted.
Yes, you have access to the Center of Light. You just have to want to be in yourself so much so. It's all you want. It's everything that is possible. It is everything that you want in that space of Yanava, Yah heart, God will, Na mind, when it's balanced, clarity, discernment. Va is the backbone, being able to stand up erect within yourself to bring yourself to your highest potential. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Center of Light Radio, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. Radio for the soul and the transformation station. Let's get right down to some Center of Light Radio beeswax. Let me tell you what's happening in the Center of Light field. October 2nd. That's my target date. PCP. Everybody, if you've never done PCP, we're going to do some PCP. Power Connection Purpose. 6-week Bust You Wide Open course. Online video forum like you see now, but you get to participate. 4 models for alignment. I am going to throw you into a state of absolute alignment, which will give you an immediate experience. We all need the reassurance. We all like the idea that we are getting something for the work we are investing. It will be Q&A format. Not only can you ask questions during the course, midday, you're at work and you have a question, send me an inbox. 6 weeks, I am in touch with you. It does require a small fee. If you're interested, if you have not verbalized yet that you're wanting a part of this course, let me know in this forum, Keith, I'm interested in the course. I'll send you the deets really quickly. But though it requires a small entry fee, what it really requires is all of you. New book coming soon. July 31st, 2020, target date. Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Souls. Thank you, Gavin Lee Davies and John Hunt's Publishing. Worldwide distribution. I'm so excited. Q&A with God. Yes, what you're looking at is God personified. I've interviewed him 6-7 times. September 25th, Memphis, Tennessee. Get yourself to Memphis, Tennessee. What you're looking at is Buddha. What you're looking at is Jesus. What you're looking at is Paramahansa Yogananda. It's what you're looking at. This divine man is going to grace me with an hour of his time to ask really important questions about what is the state of the world. It's not going to be political questions, not like, why are they spraying the skies? Why is this? Why is that? But rather, what can I do to transcend this illusion? A little later tonight, after this interview with my guest, JoAnn Kisler, we're going to be speaking about Warriors of Consciousness and Light. Last night we had a little difficulty. We were going against the current. But we tried, and we got tired. 9 o'clock tonight, an interview with... Who can it be now? Who can it be knocking at my door? Go away, don't come running no more. 9 o'clock tonight. Also, tomorrow night on Center of Light Radio, I will be interviewing Saryan Michael White. This guy truly is no joke. I'm going to ask him to vessel the angels. He's no joke. It's for real. This guy is so on point. His demeanor, his quality, his character, his force, his power is something to be reckoned with. He's very sincere about what he does. And it will become apparent when you see him contact the principality, the parent of it all. Saryan Michael White, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Center of Light Radio. Check this out. This weekend, get in your car tomorrow, depending on how far you are away. September 21st and 22nd, this weekend. I am so blessed. I'm a blessed man. 4 Points Expo. Spiritual Expo. Let me tell you a little bit about that. It's at the Agri Center, 7777 Walnut Grove, Memphis, Tennessee. There will be crystals and stones, nutrition, holistic medicine services, environmentally conscious businesses, spiritual readers, authors, paranormal investigators, researchers, Akashic records. Oh my God, I love it. Auric photography, free and paid workshops, food trucks, everybody likes some grubbage, and lots of entertainment. I may be playing music. Keynote speakers. I think it's going to be just the gentleman. Dr. Rita Louise had her mother pass. God bless her. She's such a beautiful lady. She can't make it. And I don't think Lynette Marie can make it. Either way, there's going to be speakers all day. But keynote speakers as of now are Dr. Jason Rand, author, radio show host, and researcher. Larry Flaxman from the Discovery Channel, Ancient Aliens. That boy is busy. And yours truly, I'm going to be speaking about radical transformation. If I can touch you, you're in trouble. Good trouble. $20 for both days, $15 per day. There's going to be speakers all the time. Those were just the keynote speakers. Spiritual readers. This, that, and the other. Yes, come to the fair and buy something you could take home. But rather, come to the expo and invest in something. Invest within your chest that which is the best. You. Take that home with you. I will see you at the 4 Points Expo this weekend. Road trip is always cool. Going to be right back with my guest, JoAnn Kisler, and we're going to be speaking about warriors of consciousness and light. I couldn't find any better image than Michael the Archangel. Warriors of consciousness and light. You are that. Well, how do you know that? Because you're here. There are no accidents. Not one. And speaking of Michael Archangel, love, solace, peace, protection, as a warrior of light, and the theme of Lavender Soul, Angel of Love.
She turned to me and told me life was not too easy unless you can let go. I lay surprised at the simpleness of her soul. Wasting away in a sea of uncertainty. She had stayed with me for days. I needed love in so many different ways. And as I watched, she floated through the room. And as I cried, she was there to dry them to I can let go. Reveal to me the beauty of your soul. I turned away, her light was so blinding, the energy of her love. She said goodbye and turned into a dove. As I watched, she floated through the room. And as I cried, she was there to dry them too. Hold me and don't let go. Hold me, never leave. Hold me and don't let go. Hold me, never leave. Never leave. She turned to me, told me life was not too easy unless you can let go. Reveal to me the beauty of your soul.
Welcome back to Center of Light Flagship Mother Earth. All you mothers and fathers out there, live in the divine principle. My bestseller, The Divine Principle. What is the divine principle? Well, it's for all you mothers and fathers out there. You have two components to your whole self. There's many more, but we can only digest at least what we are now. Two components, mother, father, really simple. Father plants seed, mother is the bringer forth of seed. Are you playing in your spiritual garden? Are you walking around with just your toes? Are you planting your feet on the earth? Or are you living your earthly life? Simply. Tonight, my guest is JoAnn Kisler, and we're going to be speaking about warriors of consciousness and light. We tried this last night, the Illuminati and the Cabal and the bad alien. I'm teasing. The stars weren't aligned. Everything went wrong. But, that's an open-ended but. I did a bunch of customer service work today. New software updates. And so everything looks smooth as a baby's behind. So I'm going to drop this link into the forum now. And this is how you can find more about my beautiful, powerful, she's going to kick you in your pants, guest tonight, JoAnn Kisler. Let me tell you a little bit about JoAnn. I'm looking for it. Lots of notes. JoAnn Kisler is an empath who has gone beyond the exploration of herself. By fulfilling a master's degree in metaphysics and is nearing completion of her doctorate. Through her journey of self-exploration, she was guided to expand to others to fulfill her mission in life. JoAnn serves this mission as a spiritual life coach, energy healer, and yoga teacher, and also light worker for humanity. She's really good at holding down space. She is. JoAnn resides in Memphis, Tennessee, which she says is a city whose energy source, it needs uplifting. It does. I've been here 31 years. It does indeed. And her work is an effort to make that shift happen. Now, 19 years after her arrival, she says the city has made huge strides to improve the city's core. Heart. JoAnn specializes in Yhandi. JoAnn, correct me when I bring you on. Yhandi Inner Child Healing. The process of Yhandi Inner Child Healing is a one-on-one 3-day process to unlock trauma from childhood, bring together the inner child and the adult for healing between the two. Her experience with the Yhandi Inner Child Healing led her to find peace with her own inner child and to form her first workshop, In My Mother's Eyes. Along the way, during her studies in metaphysics, she found that healing provides the soul. See, the soul is not the end-all. The soul may be the last station on the train, to the spirit. So that means there's still some healing to do, because soul, what you're looking at through me now, is soul. If I was pure spirit, you couldn't see me. She found that healing provides the soul with peace, and that every human struggling with understanding their inner self. JoAnn explains her childhood was difficult, and that difficult childhood made her an informed adult. We're no longer children of God. That's over. We are now the adults. Made her an informed adult who was leaps and bounds ahead of her peers. Her experiences allowed her to understand her spiritual self, and her knowledge was gifted to help others struggling with the same relationships. For more on JoAnn, go to breathofenergiahealing.com. Welcome back for round 2. Hang on, Joe. Let me get rid of some of this potential. Yes, let's choose save. Welcome back to Center of Light. Sister, Cosmic Sister, what you doing, girlfriend?
I'm here and breathing.
And that is enough.
That's a good thing.
And I know you mean that in jest, but really that is enough, and that to me is significant to someone who's claiming their warriorship. JoAnn, I don't know why, but I do know why. I did a recent presentation, in the past few months. We often hear about everyone has a lot of people have a Messiah complex. I have a Messiah complex. I don't think it's such a bad thing. I think it's a redonkulous, beautiful thing. I think if everyone had a Messiah complex, we would not be in the complexity and the dynamic of what's happening in the world. Your thoughts, please?
Well, for sure, what we're all experiencing right now is certainly a sign, is signs of the times, as spoken about in the Bible. So I understand that. We all have to keep preparing ourselves throughout this journey. And we're all meant to help each other connect the dots of this life, because that's what we're meant to do. We're not meant to judge one another. We're not meant to find fault or judge a group or culture or skin color. We're all supposed to live in a heart space of love and love one another as thyself. And
so how does JoAnn Kisler do that? So JoAnn just had a 8-hour night sleep, and she's rested, right? And so she feels that tug, and she's coming back to the world, and so she gets out of bed. What does JoAnn Kisler do to align herself with the soul, with that purpose, with all those beautiful qualities that we all are efforting towards? How do you do it? What is your day?
So my morning ritual is get up and I get up at 4 a.m. and make breakfast for everyone in the house. And I reserve eating till later, but my son has to go to school and husband has to, go get off to work. But anyway, so I make their breakfast and then I go into my meditation room and I meditate and I get into my heart and clear everything out because it's a powerful time to be meditating in the morning, in the wee hours, because the day hasn't started fully. You're more open and apt to receive that which needs to come through. A lot of things that are coming through for me at that time are things that I journal and write down because that's when my consciousness is wide open and ready to receive it. And a lot of profound things come through and it prepares me for my life. It prepares me to be able to be the healer that I am. It prepares me for being able to help others transform their lives. And there's no greater gift, and I'm sure that's probably what Jesus went through. There's no greater gift than to watch someone awaken and transform their lives from where they were into a different vibration.
When I wake up in the morning, JoAnn, when I'm conscious enough, and I'm getting better at it because it takes time, passion, sincerity. But when I wake in the morning and I come to a state of consciousness, I say to myself, as I plant my feet in the floor, I literally say, as I plant my feet on this floor, plant yourself within me forevermore. I go into that ritual, and it sets up a very nice, beautiful, resonant tone for my day. I love the idea of intention because it creates your day. Sadhguru says, if you choose, we will always hear at 3:30 in the morning, 3:30, whatever in the morning. That's the witching hour. That's when all the spirits come to life. It's kind of like, they're like, almost like nocturnal.
Right.
Sadhguru says, if you meet me in the cave, samadhi, meet me inside of yourself at 6:10. And he didn't mean 6:9. He didn't mean 6:11. He means 6:10. He's 6:10. If you meet me there, we will have a dialogue. And so I love the idea that you're doing this at such an early hour in the morning because it's beyond the nonsense. It's before the traffic. It's before the chaos of the world gets its momentum going. People going to work. Well, I'm not on the expressway. Well, still, the chaos of the expressway is happening in your world. And so it's kind of like we beat the rush hour traffic.
Right.
It's that very, very quiet time. For the listening audience, if you've never woken up at 5, whatever time in the morning that feels like you can tough it out, and just sit. Just sit. If you need coffee, then God bless you. Or whatever it is. But just sit. Don't turn anything on. In fact, turn yourself on. Spiritually masturbate yourself into a space of ecstasy just by simply being with yourself. No thoughts. In fact, if thoughts come in, let them be there. Don't struggle. Oh, I'm trying to be quiet. I don't want to thank you right now. I want to thank you right now to reflect to me how quiet I can be. Is this sort of what happens to you? Just being in that place of nothing. I don't want nothing to happen right now. In fact, nothing is everything.
Right. I will say though, I would encourage them to reserve the coffee because coffee is a stimulant. It has caffeine in it, and that's going to stir up the mind. And for those people who are sensitive to caffeine, it's best to hold off on that before you meditate. Otherwise, the mind's going to just keep going.
Relentlessly.
Yeah.
And I have a cup of coffee, 9:30, 10 when I awaken. Come through. I need my nap. I need my daily nap. That's like a spiritual uplift for me. Yes. So when I try to lay down, even though I have that coffee all those hours ago, as soon as I go, and I'm going into my mantra, my ongoing prayer to help me keep me one pointed focus so I can fall asleep. Om Saram, Om Saram, Om Saram, Om Saram, Om Saram. After about a minute of that, my mind goes to this other place. Om Saram, Om Saram, Om Saram. So I would suggest coffee is not the way to go, but some people need that to, quote, function. So you
Right.
did tell me in the green room, JoAnn, that
Yes.
you had taken down some notes because you and I's date last night was interrupted via the software, and I hope to God, and I think I solved everything. I showed no lost frames, which is a phenomenal sign. Everything is clear, as you and I can both see. You said you took down some notes about
Yes.
what business we got into last night. Would you like to share some of that
Yes.
so we can move into
So
some of
let
those?
me so let me just read off some things I jotted down so that we can kind of pick up where we left off yesterday to recap some of the things that we mentioned or said. So, in talking about the consciousness of light, so what that means exactly is sometimes our internal and our external self are at war with one another. And so what this does is this causes our senses to feel corrupted, and there's like this battle going on because the external self wants to control everything. And if you just meditate, practice meditation, and practice being in that space, that heart space of love, heart space of love towards yourself, heart space of love towards this planet, heart space of love towards humanity, and heart space of love for our fellow man, then you don't need control. When you allow that soul to emerge, you are in the purest state you can be, and you're in the state you were in when you entered this world, when you came to Earth. And then
You said last night poetically you said when we were talking about how do we achieve an ongoing state of the meditative state. And you said being of service is one way. Of course it
Right.
is, because a couple of years, three, whatever years ago, saying about me, it's about making a point. I went to a Circle K to get whatever, and there was this girl there, and I could tell. A friend of mine once told me, if you want to understand who someone is truly in need of food versus someone who is a moonie and mooching, look at their
Right.
shoes. People who move about professionally, they travel with a backpack because they bring everything they have. That's all they have.
Right.
They're a walking house. That's what they do. Well, people who have nothing, it's suspicious. So anyway, I met this girl, and I bought her whatever amount of food. Later that day, I received 5 times the money I bought her by being hired to do a music gig. So a way to achieve an ongoing space of meditation is to be given, because we all know how it feels to give that person beside the road that we, lucky in his favor, we caught the red light, and we give them the $5. And when you drive off, you feel like, oh my God, I feel so alive.
Right. Right. It's not for us to judge because we don't know what their circumstance or mental capacity is. And, but it's funny that that they told you to look at the shoes, because that's exactly what my son does is, if we're at a stoplight and there's someone there begging, that's the first thing he looks at the shoes. And I thought, wow, that's clever. I never thought of that, but, that's exactly how he tells if someone's really in need or not.
What's the saying? Shoes make the man.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
So what else? Where did we leave off more so about what we covered last night? That
So, it's funny. Let me go back. So when you run your programming thing in the beginning, one of the words that flashes across the screen is, and I'm glad you have that up there, it says liberation. And I wrote that word down today because, I wanted to touch on that, because when you get more into that heart space of love and into your soul, and you allow that to step forward to be your authentic and true self, you are liberated. you are in the state that you're supposed to be in. And one of the other things I touched on yesterday is it's like you come into this world and think of yourself as a treasure hunter, and you collect things in your little bags along this way of life. And you've got bags that hold things that no longer serve you. And you've got bags that holds the things that are for your highest and best good. And it's important, if you've got more bags of the things that no longer serve you, then it's time to declutter and release those things. And, you know, you go through your bag and say, do I really need this emotion? Do I really need this thought? Well, if it's not serving you at this time in your life, you need to let it go. If you haven't forgiven someone because they wronged you or they, you know, cursed you out, it's time to forgive and let it go. Holding on to all that baggage is not serving you or serving anyone in your inner circle or your tribe that hopefully you are drawing into your life, as opposed to if there was a home you grew up in or a circumstance you grew up in that those people were not your tribe, then hopefully throughout your life you will take heed of that and you will heal yourself and step into a place, because once you are that person that you're wanting to draw into your life, that you feel you deserve to have in your life, once you're able to be that person, that tribe is going to show up, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, relationship, whatever it is, just a friend. So.
And there's a movie out, and I'm sure many people have seen it. It's called The Secret. And I'm going to paraphrase, of course. But this woman in The Secret was looking for a mate. She wanted that mate she can get busy with. And she realized, because of her recent learnings, that what we do unconsciously, the universal law does not change for anyone. And she realized that unconsciously, she slept in the middle of the bed. How can someone be a part of your bed if you're sleeping in the middle? She realized she did the same thing with her car. She parked in her 2-car garage right in the middle. When this dawned upon her, she chose her side of the bed. She chose her side of the garage. And so, metaphorically, intentionally, she left herself available and open for someone else to park their car or park themselves as part of her sensual, sexual, spiritual bed to allow them into her life. So yes, it's so about understanding the dynamic. And I always say, JoAnn, everyone's life is an open-eyed prayer. All there is the unconditional love wishing tree. Everything you think, everything you feel, everything you do, conscious or unconscious, the unconditional wishing tree says, you can have it.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so,
it's called manifesting. And there's a key and a way to manifest. And once you learn how to manifest, you know, the sky's the limit, and there is no limit. You know, people, you know, this always strikes me as funny when, you know, you come upon a woman or a guy who, and you immediately, you know, when they're boasting and they're talking all this stuff about themselves, you know, that person deep down inside is extremely insecure. And, you know, sometimes their behavior it ends up being, you know, they're jealous or they stab you in the back or they gossip or whatever it is. And that's just extreme, you know, insecurities. And there's an endless amount of everything for all of us. There's not just one, there's many.
wow, there's an endless amount of everything for everyone.
Right.
Wow. Wow. Are you writing a book?
I am working on one, yes.
Please
Yeah.
include that.
Yes.
There's an endless amount of everything for everyone. That is delicious. And that so describes what we are worth. So tonight we're talking with JoAnn Kisler about warriors of consciousness and light. Do you think anyone out there, hypothetical, do we think that these angelic beings, warriors of light, in consciousness, that they have any doubt about their self-worth to be a messenger and a facilitator of spirit, God? Because I've always heard, JoAnn, that what angels are is they are truly, of course, we know that angels are messengers, but they only act completely by promptings and the will of the Creator. They have no vested interest. They have no agenda. This is what they must do, and that is what they do. And so, in order for such a high angelic form to be such a deliverer of such potency, power, and light, and might, and light, they cannot embody, entertain, in fact, that they're not worthy of carrying the message of Creator. In fact, that would distort the light. Yes?
Right. Yes, absolutely. And I fully believe that there's many angels in this world who are carrying the light and have overcome so much to move into that space in order to make wise decisions and make those decisions that are good for everyone. But the important key is you must heal. You must heal all of those things that, whether it happened to you as a child or whether you've blocked it out.
How? I'm interrupting. I'm interrupting on purpose. How? There are a lot of people that's going to trample on this interview in the near future. You and I understand it. Many people who visit this page often understand it. JoAnn, how? How do you say heal? What, to other people, that doesn't make any sense. They don't know what that means. Heal. Heal what? I got a scab on my arm. Do I put some mercurochrome on it or some whatever? How do we heal? And what is it are we healing?
You are healing all of those things that have happened to you, that have created you in the moment where you are right now. Well, sometimes people self-sabotage. Sometimes people, have wrong or dysfunctioning thoughts. So until you go in and do the work on yourself, and my suggestion is one of the ways of doing and healing is journaling. And journaling is very powerful. And the powerful time to do that is at night before you go to bed and the very first thing in the morning. And you write nice things to yourself, whether you believe it or not. The other way is through meditation. Hypnosis is another way. You were on air earlier talking about it's Yhandi. That's how you pronounced it correctly. It's Yhandi. So what Yhandi does with the healing is and the reason it's like healing on steroids. That's why it takes 3 days. But some people sit in a therapist office for 5-10 years, and I'm not putting it down or anything. It's talk therapy, and so it keeps that drama or that chaos stirred up because you keep talking about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Phil says that when you analyze a child or a person, if you overanalyze, you're the one causing the problem, because you're constantly reinforcing and imbuing this situation with your own will by simply talking about it.
Well, if you just if you have a physical wound, like let's say you have a cut and you need stitches. Well, if you keep poking at it, that wound's going to stay open and it's never going to heal. It's the same thing with talk therapy, is you keep it in the now as opposed to that being in the past, and you heal all those emotions, thoughts, and feelings that have held you in that unhealed place. And so what the Yhandi does is it goes in and addresses the child and allows the child to have that moment to express itself. And then, there's key questions that I have to ask in order to uncover where they're stuck. And we work through that. And then the other part is working with the adult. And then the last part is having the child and the adult recognize each other's power and work together as opposed to battling each other throughout their whole life. Some people go through their whole life and take their last breath at the end of their life, and they've never healed. A lot of people don't even recognize they need to heal. Sometimes it's been trapped in the subconscious, and you have to get into that subconscious and you have to unlock all of that so that you can start peeling away the layers, because people, as you grow, shut their heart down. It's like trying to break a ton of bricks with a fork. It's not going to happen until certain life experiences get healed on a cellular level. They're not going to be able to start peeling away the concrete around their heart because they've been hurt so badly.
So what you are talking about is time travel, because when you are present, my name is Keith Blanchard, I'm 55. Stop it, no comments. Years old. And when I go back, which I have done, JoAnn, I have. It's been many years, but I went back in a dreamscape scenario, and I saw this little kid sitting against the locker at school, sort of moping. And I nudged him with my foot and I said, "Don't worry, bro. Everything's going to be okay." So because of that experience, I changed my timeline. And it helped me to connect. I love the fact that you said, not only does it heal the child and the adult, that there's a mutual respective understanding of the power that is being shifted between the younger version,
right,
and the present version.
Right. So often people, in our world today are suffering with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and going so far as to commit suicide. And I just think this is a crime. People, it's like, how do you recognize, you look at people every day and you have no clue how they're suffering or what they're struggling with. I mean, just as a prime example, look at Robin Williams. Who would have ever thought? The funniest man I've ever experienced in my life.
A beautiful soul. What a beautiful man. My God.
I mean, who would have thought that he had been suffering so badly with depression? And I'm sure anxiety as well, because those two kind of go hand in hand. And, none of us would have he'd have been the last person on earth that we would have thought would have committed suicide, and
of course, in hindsight, it's 20, even better than 2020 in hindsight, looking at him and his acting and his expressing himself. You could see there was truly a profound sadness in his eyes. And that profound sadness could be because of the shape of the world, the conditions of the world. But there was a profound sadness in this man, strangely, which made him quite beautiful. Everyone, my name is Keith Anthony Blanchard. We are at the bottom of the hour, meaning the show. Center of Light Radio tonight, my guest is JoAnn Kisler, and we're speaking about warriors of consciousness and light. I love this topic. I love this conversation. I love talking with JoAnn. She's lovely. She's powerful. She's very grounded. She's very connected. Let's see what we have on the Center of Light playlist. Perfect in Line. A song I wrote in about 20. Got the whole idea out. I can't play keyboards, boy. Shit, I can't. But I did my best to pad chords and wrote this song in a very simple key, very simple movement. Halfway through this song, with Lavender de Soul, we are writing a new album now comprised of members of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra. Working title for the album is called Atmosphere. The song is What am I looking for? What am I looking for? I'm Mr. Spiritual. I'm Miss Spiritual. I get it. I'm looking. I'm intentfully looking. After a while of intentfully looking, you ask yourself, what am I looking for? And in that mystery is the birth of your own inner child. Hello? Do we just go back and revisit Miss JoAnn what we've been talking about? What am I looking for? Enjoy it. Be right back. You rock, baby girl.
I need more than what I have. I'm just not sure. What am I searching for? The mothership to a distant shore. Could this journey make me more of who I am? I'm just not sure.
Where do you go to find the answers? There is a place you haven't tried. Your search for love is taking chances. Have you ever thought to look inside?
What am I hoping for? A better world, is there a cure? What can I do to help the score? I'm at a loss, I'm just not sure. What am I praying for? To see the light around the world and the people's love restored. Peace on earth, of this I'm sure.
Where do you go to find your answers? There is a place you haven't tried. Your search for love is taking chances. Have you ever thought to look inside? Where do you go to find your answers? There is a place you haven't tried. Your search for love is taking chances. Have you ever thought to look inside? You hold the key to find your answers. I am the door you have not tried. Never again taking chances. Open your heart and walk inside. Walk inside.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Lewis, if you are still here, sir. Troublemaker you are. Lewis, if you're still here, my bro, send me an exclamation point. Welcome to Center of Light, all my beautiful people. I am writing a book started yesterday. Check this out. I'm starting a new religion. Wow. It's the religion of non-religion. That you do things in your life religiously. And it's called Yhandi. Yhandi. It'll probably be 20 pages. What is more important than the words that you will find in this 20 whatever-ish, however it ends up, book? What you will find, what you will not discover, uncover, and I will write this deliberately to have this very effect. What you will uncover is not what's being said in the book. So what's the point of buying the book? Because the empty space between the information I provide in Yanavaism, Yanava, heart, mind when balanced, and backbone to carry out our beautiful actions as the beautiful infinite potential creatures that we are, to embody the principle, the divine principle of heaven and earth, is the information you're going to find in the empty spaces. So by the time you come to the end of it, it will create a new chapter, a new beginning in your life, which is, I understand that the words were used to shift me to a space beyond the words. That is my intention. Yanavaism, the religion of non-religion. It requires you to be you religiously. Tonight I am speaking with my guest, JoAnn Kisler, and we're talking about warriors of consciousness and light. Let me see if my friend Lewis is still here.
Okay.
Agi said, can I adapt that religion? No, can I adopt? I'm sure he meant adopt. You sure can, brother. And JoAnn Kisler says, glad you're all present. Let me see if Lewis is here. If not, I'm going to offer it to it says he's here. Lewis Broham Sandwich, are you here? 1 second. Hello, Darnell Morgan. Why did my Facebook freeze? I don't think it's my software. I think it's Facebook. So, Lewis, whether you're here or not, I want to grant you, because I love you, bro. We're knuckleheads like that. I want to give you, sir, my course, Power Connection Purpose, 6-week Bust You Wide Open, as a gift, as a gesture, because of the kindness you've shown me. Simply, I want to say thank you. It's free for you. Let it go, baby. I was digging. Welcome. Who is that band? They sound really good. I think that guitar player is Keith. What's up, boo-boo? Welcome back to Center of Light Radio, and thank you for chatting with me for a second go-round of Warriors of Consciousness and a Light. And I love that title because it's, as I look at the splash screen, JoAnn, I couldn't help but find Michael and his sword as a warrior of light. And I don't mean a protection from a something. There's this lady. I want to get your thoughts about this. I think this is quite poetic and very beautiful and very powerful. If any of you out there have never heard of Anna Braden Back, Brayden Back, Anna Braden Back, type in another keyword in YouTube, Anna Braden Back, and then type in Diablo. And it's this woman who showed up on social media a few years ago in Australia. And she's an animal whisperer. And this guy's like, well, I don't think anybody can talk to animals. And, he was in it beautiful in all its glory and beautiful human self. And then she began to have a dialogue with this cat, this black leopard. And he just changed. And it brought this man to his feet in tears, in tears, and tears, and tears. If you have not had the chance to experience Anna Braden Back, check that out. And I'm telling you this because, or sharing this with you because, we all have this innate ability within ourselves. There's even a little girl who lives somewhere in, let's say, Nepal or whatever country. And tourists from around the world, for many years now, come to this site for her to summon the whales. And someone in an interview asked her, how do you summon the whales? And she said, innocently, I just go to that place within myself that we all speak the same language.
Right.
Do we have that ability?
We all do. There's an innate intelligence within all of us that no one's ever told us that it was there. And it's time for us all to tap into that magnificence that's within our souls, because it's there. God didn't just pick and choose and say, oh, I'm going to give it to you, or I'm going to give it to this group. And and not to this other group. He created us the same. Although we're different, you know, we have different color hair, we're, you know, different shapes and sizes and colors and speak different languages, we're all one. We are all one.
And I get it, spiritual people. We are all one. It somewhat lost its nuts. It lost its power. It lost its punch. We're all one. It's now cliche. We're all one. And so I understand that. And if you allow yourself to really fall into what JoAnn just said, we're all one. If you allow yourself to go into the rabbit hole, the cave, the samadhi of yourself, to commune with God, I am one, I am one, I am one, and you just live in that fervently, then it truly steps beyond the clichéic idea that we're just all one. Everybody can just say, well, I get it, we're all one in the energy level, we're all vibrating. But most people, JoAnn, leave that alone. They leave that right there on that shelf. And they don't take it another step inward to me, which is upward, which is forward, which is toward something.
Well, I don't think a lot of people probably understand really what that means. And when you say we're all one, it's not just that we are brothers and sisters, that we're all one. We're one with the universe. We're one with God. We're one with Mother Earth. And I think sometimes that's a little too big for people to really take in and accept, you know. But like I said, if you peel away those layers that you've built up around your heart because you've been hurt, and you move into that heart space of love, the whole world opens up for you. You know, when we talk about consciousness and light, that means that you are strong. That means that you are carrying a torch of light for all of us. And
From my book, The Divine Principle.
Can you imagine how bright it would be if we were all carrying that torch of light? The infinite, you know? Exactly.
From my book, The Divine Principle, it says, you will be so amazed when you realize that carrying the torch of light and divinity is so much lighter than carrying the burden of ignorance, darkness, pain, fear, illusion.
Right.
So this is what I want to ask you, JoAnn. When I got back I go to commercial break, y'all. I must tell the truth because I have to use the bathroom. And and also it's my excuse to talk to God. Swamiji himself even told me, he goes, yes, very common knowledge in India. Most people go to the bathroom, God speaks. Because you don't have nothing in your monkey-minded head. You're going to relieve your bladder, right? So you're open. And and so what I get from these moments of getting out of the monkey mind, or allowing yourself just the opportunity to be in a space of silence, is that there's such an amazing growth potential. How would you suggest that people who want expansion beyond what they have known, right, wrong, or indifferent, you know, I'm tired of this. I get it. Frustration, I get it. It's a human quality. It's a beautiful human quality. And probably it's the motivating factor that says, I'm fucking just tired of this shit. So what would you suggest that can help people meander, push them forward off the cliff, if you will, into a space of wanting something just a little bit more from now?
Well, some of the ways, yoga, I'm going to suggest yoga because yoga is very powerful. Some people think, oh, well, it's all doing this downward dog, or it's doing all these contortionist poses. And that's really not what yoga is all about. Yoga is about opening up your body, breathing, allowing the air, the oxygen to get into your body on a cellular level. Most of us carry a lot of our stress and our life experiences in our lower chakras, which is the first, second, and third chakra. And that a lot of stuff gets held in that area. And so by doing yoga and by breathing, breath is so key. When I do my workshops, which towards the end of October, the next to the last Saturday of October, I'm going to be teaching a workshop called Raising Your Vibrational Frequency over at a place called The Farm over in Summertown, Tennessee. So if anybody's in that area, please stop by and come by. But I'm taking people through breath work and through stretching and getting the body to open up, to release. That's what you're doing by doing yoga. You're getting to release a lot of pent-up stress, a lot of depression, anger, frustration, and so that your vibration does raise, so it does increase. That puts your body into a state of alkaline through your breath. Get your body into an alkaline state.
So what you're saying is, I get it, I love it. So what you're saying, and there's a time lag between JoAnn and I as to why it seems like I'm trampling over. So what you're saying is, and you see, I already know this, but I didn't really think about it until you brought it up. So when we get into these states of consciousness and light, the pharmacy that we know as the human brain begins to write prescriptions for everything you are saying.
Right.
I love it. So what does it feel like? I may have asked you this last night, and if I didn't, I'll ask this of my guests often. What does it feel like to be JoAnn Kisler when she wakes up in the day and she comes to a state of consciousness about her day? What does it feel like to be you? Of course, words only soil it. But knowing what you know, practicing what you practice, being what you are to the fullest, how does it feel to be you?
It feels like a peace and a bliss that I didn't grow up feeling this way. It feels like it's liberating. It's to be able to experience your soul as opposed to your physical experience that we've all gone through in our life. We've experienced life from a physical perspective as opposed from a soulful perspective. Instead of turning that inside out and moving beyond what you thought you were capable of doing or being, and allowing that soul to emerge and embracing who you truly are, getting at truth. And that's another key word here with being warriors of light and consciousness, is you are a carrier of truth.
You are a carrier of truth. In fact, the very fact that you are alive as a walking, talking human being, you're the personification of the living word. Because without being connected, it would be arrogant to think that we could do this on our own without the humility of something divine, not only creating but sustaining all of this. And so in such humility, the door opens up to where we can become the ocean and not just the drop.
Right.
JoAnn, it humbles me every day, even though in my regalness and my majesty and self-proclaimed all that stuff, there's a part of me that understands regally and majestically, I am that shit. I am that. But there's a part of me that says, how can I wash your feet? And I think the dance between the two, mother, father, the will, the birther, they come together and it always creates an offspring, an onspring. The third component, we call that the rebirth of the Christ, or the Buddha compassion, I the rising of the lotus flower, or the rising of the phoenix. So in that third something is what everyone, without question, yes, that means everyone, you, whoever you are, we're looking for that. That's what we want. Hence the Lavender Soul song. When I was starting my quest and I wrote that song, I was in my spiritual woo-woo and I'm thinking I'm the it. And when I started meditating for 8 years through these conversations with Spirit, I said, what the fuck am I looking for? Because I went into it with this idea that I'm looking for a this and I'm looking for a that. And in my wanting, JoAnn, to honestly look for the this and the that I thought it was, I went nowhere. Hence the question, what am I looking for? And what I discovered, JoAnn, it looks exactly like the person looking at me back in the mirror.
Right. Well, so you moved into a state of allowing, because without allowing, you go nowhere.
So what next? We go nowhere. In the state of allowing, we go nowhere. So of course the opposite is, so if I allow, I can go everywhere. But how? See, that's the thing. It's not about the how. You don't have to know how to do a something, because doing a something is really not what you want. What you quote want is doing a nothing. And in that nothing is everything beyond what you can ever even postulate it, imagine, that could take you to the bliss that you want. Because, you know, what's that saying? You may have plans for today, but cancel those. Gods are greater. Whatever the meme is, whatever the post is.
Right. That's right. Because, you know, when you're, you know, really young and you've got all these ideas of this is who I am and this is what I've got to do, and you're so caught up in trying to control, well, no, it has to happen this way. I've got to do it. This has got to be the way it works out. And, you know, it never works out that way. You know, God has a different plan. And of course, he's not telling you what it is, but, you know, he's preparing you so that when you open yourself and you open your heart, and you get into that heart space of love, and you allow that which is for your highest and best good to step forward, you know that God has had a plan, because you look back over your life and you think, you know, when you were in those moments of going through headaches and strife, you thought God didn't love you. You thought God wasn't there for you. You thought he didn't even know you existed. But then when you get older and you look back over those moments, it goes ding, 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 you know, the light goes on and the bells start ringing, and I go, wow. And then you end up in tears because you realize just how much God has loved you all along, because of the things that he has awakened you to, the things that he has shown you. And it's just an indescribable love. I mean, I have wept so many times when I was in that state of meditation, when I felt that column of light coming into my heart and just pouring this indescribable love into my heart. You know, you just end up in a meltdown because you're going, oh my gosh, I get it. I get
JoAnn,
it.
I want to ask you, you know, when I was writing The Divine Principle, I would go into these crying spells. I would weep. I would just fucking weep. Snot would come out of my nose. I would weep for 2 minutes when I would get this paragraph or this love nugget. And I asked in meditation, why does this happen? And it said, because you're not used to such high vibrational energy. The body looks for the quickest way to burn it off, because it's bloating, sort of like too many bites of cheesecake. So your body doesn't know what to do with that.
Right.
And also in my past presentations, when I go into vessel mode, I start weeping and I start weeping and I start weeping. I want to ask you this, and by all means, listening audience, I mean this in all humility. But if our path, our purpose is to get to the divine nectar in the absolute truth, not the superficial truth. Superficial truth is beautiful because it's a stepping stone on the ladder to a higher place. The absolute truth is, when we humble ourselves to God, the one I should be so this for, I understand that because I live that dynamic daily. But the absolute truth of the matter, that is not what you're doing whatsoever. You're not bowing down to a God, that all this. What we are doing is, via our humility, we're opening up ourselves to the level that our own authenticity actually just steps to the forward. So it's not really worshiping a God as I am here and it is there. It's truly opening up the chest cavity to a space of our own authentic nature, which naturally, essentially, is divine. Would that be a true statement for you?
That's correct. That's correct. We all
I knew we connected for a reason.
we all have a divine state. You just have to tap into it, you know, and because it's always been there. And society has tried to, you know, tell us we're not, or you're not good enough, or, you know, it's always not, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. And, you know, you just have to shut it down and say, oh, okay, well, that's your perspective and that's your belief system. That's not mine. And, you know, because everything that you could ever possibly want to be, do, or have in your life, it's all possible. It's already in the etheric. It's already in the etheric.
So it's already there. Nothing really is your creation. You're just tapping into a place where that's something spiritually, etherically, basically exists as an idea.
Well, and you know, it goes according to your belief system. If it has to do with, let's say, just as an example, prosperity. Well, if you don't inside your being believe that you are prosperous, or i.e. you don't believe you're blessed, or i.e. you don't believe you have, meaning you live in lack. If you're in lack mentality, that's where you're going to be. But is the prosperity in the etheric? Yes, it is. But until you awaken or you change the self-talk, you're not going to open up to receiving it. But it's already there.
What's the saying by Wayne Dyer? I don't know where he got it from. If you understood who walked by your side every day, you would never be afraid again. If we understood the abundance that surrounds us every day, we would never be afraid again, living in lack consciousness. If we understood, we can. It's all across the board. It's the same thing. JoAnn, we are, believe it or not, wow, at the bottom of the show. Would you leave us with a final thought? And everyone, I'm going to post again now my cosmic sister. No, that's the beautiful, sexy human creatures. But I'm going to post again. Would you leave us with a final thought, as well as how our listening audience can find more about you, the trouble you are causing in the universe, and where to find you?
Okay. So my final thought is, and we touched on this yesterday. So Keith brought up the word fear yesterday. And I usually don't want to say that word. I always say, well, it's the F word, but it's not the F word you're thinking about. It's the F word that ends in R, because, you know, I don't like that word in my vibration. But so if you can just think about that word, and I will tell you what that word means. It's false evidence appearing real. That's all fear is. And so I will leave you with that final thought for you to mull over and think about, because that's all it is.
That's beautiful.
You are a divine being filled with love, respect, and honor, and it's all there. You just have to reach out and touch it and embrace it and allow it to come into your heart.
I love you said that, darling. You can continue. I love that you said that, because if I was to ask everyone just to close your eyes simply for 30 seconds and think of something beautiful, an experience of a child being born, or something in your life in your recent past, and you feel, oh my God, I am so powerful. I'm deserving of this, and this actually happened to me. And you feel a certain way. And then I ask you, tell me about this thing that happened to you last month. And you go from you as center point that's recalling an experience to you who is not in your center point that's recalling something. Nothing has changed here. Really, nothing has changed. There's two different stories. This is one story. This is the other story. How did I allow myself to shift into a space of absolute disclarity, unclarity, and nonsense to where it has such a grasp and hold on me? And so, in that way, as JoAnn is saying, and I'm reinforcing, we are so divine by what we think, by what we choose. Simply, I watched the Ten Commandments the other day with my son. He goes, Dad, we love sci-fi. We love explosions and bells and whistles. He goes, but Dad, I love a good movie with dialogue. I said, let's watch the Ten Commandments. So it will be written, and so it shall be done.
Right. Right. So how you reach me is my website is www.breathofenergiahealing.com.
I enjoyed it, sister.
Okay, thank you.
I enjoy riding in the same roller coaster car with you.
Okay, good.
So I will see you Saturday and Sunday at the fair.
Yes, yes, yes. And
So-
please, if you can come, please come to
So
the.
if imagine you are walking into the building, what side and about how far down are you going to be?
Well, the map from what I'm, when I look at the map, I think I'm further down on the right side. I think. So I haven't been in the building to know where the booths are and everything. So we'll find all that out on Friday when I go to set up. So.
And I am coming to interview you while you're at your booth. I'm going to make as much of this live as possible, and I'm going to do everything to get away to come hear your talk.
Yes, please.
I love you, sis. Thank you.
Okay, love you back.
Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard, Yanava Center of Light Radio with my guest, JoAnn Kisler, as we've been talking about warriors of consciousness and light. And in all delight, I'm not going to say goodnight just yet. Shortly, John Doe. I'm going to interview John Doe. We're going to interview each other. Check out John Doe. John Doe. We have no idea who's coming down the center of Light Pike. I'm thinking about 9:30. I'm going to launch this because I need a break. I need some food. So if you want to return for some more cray-cray, I will see you shortly. Peace, love, and always remember, live in the light. You're living in the light already. Whether you're doing it consciously or not, it's truly your choice. So if you're in that place already, one second, I'm looking for my final screen. Here we go. Peace, love, and live in the light. I love you beyond measure.